VBN, the Rich Video Blog Network, home to weekly NFL predictions, great personality profiles, great professional wrestling video blogs, great sports video blogs, great MBTA video blogs, and tons more. Collection of my work goes back to June of 2014 on various social media websites, RVBN, the only video blog on the internet that matters. Time now is 4:24 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's Saturday, March 25th, 2017. It's been a mix of sun and clouds today. Some news to report before my second video blog subject of the day on the RVBN News. Why do. Boston Red Sox beat Tampa Bay Rays in one split squad game by a score of 7-5. UMass Lowell Riverhawks blank Cornell University by a score of 5-0. And two very sad items to report. Two passings in the world of sports. First, former Bruins defenseman Gary Doak at the age of 71, and former NFL player Clay Matthews Sr. at the age of 88. So prayers to their families in this time of need. And that's about it on news from the RVBN News. Why do. Be back in a flash with my second video blog subject of the day, the feud between Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the WWE 1996-1997. Pump it up, 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 pump it up. Get your exercise in. Run, walk, jump rope, skip rope, push-ups, pull-ups, do weights, do everything. Get your heart healthy. And you could be a slim, trim 217 pounds. RVBN, the only video blog on the internet that matters. I'm back. My second video blog subject of the day for Saturday, March 25th, 2017 is about the feud in the WWE from the fall of 1996 through the summer of 1997 between Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was one of the most important feuds in WWE history, as halfway through this feud, both wrestlers switched face to heel, and that switch turned the course of WWE history. Background on the feud between Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. In the summer of 1996, Bret the Hitman Hart was taking a sabbatical from the WWE to pursue some acting gigs. He just wrestled on world tours. And also around this time, Stone Cold Steve Austin was becoming a player in the WWE. He won 1996 WWE King of the Ring, and in the summer of 1996 on WWE TV, he was making some challenges to Bret the Hitman Hart on television. Bret the Hitman Hart on WWE's television said his commitments with the WWE were finished, and he was going to make a decision about his future. And at Mind Games in Your House, Stone Cold Steve Austin said about Bret the Hitman Hart, if you put a letter S in front of Hitman, that's how I think about Bret the Hitman Hart. So they were building up to this feud. And on October 21st, 1996, in an in-ring interview on Monday Night Raw, Bret the Hitman Hart was going to be with the WWE forever, and he made a challenge to Stone Cold Steve Austin at the Survivor Series for a one-on-one match. A week later on WWE Superstars, the loose cannon Brian Pillman interviewed Stone Cold Steve Austin, and after when Stone Cold turned his back, Pillman says the best there was, and Stone Cold attacked Brian Pillman and put a chair in his ankle and breaks the ankle. This was to put Pillman off of television because he needed his ankle fused again because it wasn't healing properly from the car accident. And this was continuing to build towards the Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin match at Survivor Series 1996, and they had an awesome match at Survivor Series 1996. Back and forth, went over 20 minutes. Bret Hart put Stone Cold in the sharpshooter, but he rolled over, and the ending had Bret the Hitman Hart pinned Stone Cold with an art, like when he was trying to put him in a sleeper hold, $1 Million Dream Tie. But this was far from over. They continued to have like run-ins in their matches over the next 2 months, and they had cards on house shows where both Stone Cold and Bret the Hitman Hart were winning them one another, back and forth, back and forth. In Royal Rumble 1997, Stone Cold Steve Austin drew a low number, I think number 5, and he was throwing people out left and right until Bret the Hitman Hart came in, and they, had a, battling one another, and Bret the Hitman Hart threw Stone Cold Steve Austin out of the ring to eliminate him at the 1997 Royal Rumble, but the referees didn't see it because they were being distracted to try to pull a fight between Cactus Jack, Mankind, Mick Foley, and Terry Funk away, and if the referees don't see it, it's legal. Stone Cold then eliminates Vader and The Undertaker illegally, and then he eliminates Bret the Hitman Hart, and Stone Cold wins the 1997 Royal Rumble. The next night on Raw, Bret the Hitman Hart quits the WWE and he walks away, but WWE President Gorilla Monsoon said he was ordering a fatal 4-way match in your house. Fatal 4-way next on February 1997. It took more importance on February of 1997 when Shawn Michaels had to forfeit the WWE World Title because he had a knee injury and he lost his smile. He was getting out to do the job to Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 13. He wasn't really that injured. Anyway, they had the fatal 4-way match in your house on February 17th, February 16th, 1997, between Bret the Hitman Hart, Vader, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was won by Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart becomes the WWE Champion for the 4th time. But the next night on Raw, it was between Bret the Hitman Hart and Psycho Sid for the WWE title. Stone Cold Steve Austin interferes and costs Bret the Hitman Hart the title. And during this time, Bret was acting so much like a crybaby because he's been getting screwed all the time. And he was being booed big time, even though he was the face. And even though Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel, fans were cheering him like crazy. It was just unbelievable. And they had a submission match at WrestleMania 13 between Bret the Hitman Hart and Ken Shamrock. No, Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Ken Shamrock, the special guest referee. The weeks leading up to the pay-per-view match between Stone Cold and Bret the Hitman Hart were quite amazing. You could see the fans booing Bret Hart like crazy and cheering Stone Cold like crazy. The week before, Stone Cold Steve Austin interferes in a cage match on Raw between the Hitman and Psycho Sid for the WWE Championship. That's the time that Bret the Hitman Hart snaps and throws Vince McMahon down, pushes him down. He says, "That's bullshit." And good old JR says, we apologize for this action. And then, anyway, at WrestleMania 13, it was this famous submission match. It was probably the best match on a WrestleMania. That was disastrous. No holds barred. And the fans were cheering like Stone Cold Steve Austin like crazy. And Bret the Hitman Hart puts the sharpshooter on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he was bleeding profusely. His face was a crimson mask, as the late great WWE Hall of Fame announcer Gordon Soley would have said. Bret the Hitman Hart wins the match because Stone Cold Steve Austin could not continue, and Bret continues to pound on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Ken Shamrock had to restrain him. And then the next night on Monday Night Raw, Bret the Hitman Hart officially turns heel, and Stone Cold Steve Austin turns face a week later. And then they have a match at In Your House, Revenge of the Taker, with the stipulation the winner would get a shot at the WWE title in a cold day in hell in your house. Stone Cold Steve Austin wins that match, and he gets the shot at The Undertaker. But on the next night on Raw, like Stone Cold Steve Austin challenges Bret the Hitman Hart to another match. And this was a street fight. It was very, very physical. It was awesome. Stone Cold Steve Austin puts Bret the Hitman Hart in the sharpshooter, and the fans are going wild. The Bulldog and Owen Hart had to come down, and then they had to put Bret Hart on a stretcher, and they had to load him on the ambulance. But like Stone Cold Steve Austin says, don't tell one person, go straight to hell. It's being Bret Hart in the ambulance on the stretcher, which is awesome. It's amazing. The fans are going nuts. This was really the start of a direction of the WWE changing from the like old school stuff, like the cartoonish ways, to more of like more attitude. It was, kind of the beginnings of the Attitude Era. And Bret the Hitman Hart was, needed legitimate knee surgery, and he got that. But they were still like bad mouth with Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin throughout May and June of 1997. And the last really big match Stone Cold had with Bret the Hitman Hart was Canadian Stampede 1997 in Your House. It was a 10-man tag. It was the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, and Brian Pillman facing off against Stone Cold Steve Austin, the World Warriors, Goldust, and Ken Shamrock. And the Harts were cheered like crazy because they're from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, while the Stone Cold's team was booed. But fans at Canada in like Calgary still kind of cheered for Stone Cold Steve Austin because he was the most popular face around the company. That was the last big time match for Stone Cold, and Bret the Hitman Hart was involved, and Owen Hart pinned Stone Cold Steve Austin, rolling him up, and Stone Cold got into a fight with Stu Hart and a couple of Bret's other brothers, Bruce and Wayne. And this feud was one of the best in WWE history, and it, changed the course of WWE history with Bret going heel and Stone Cold Steve Austin going face. There were plans. The main event at WrestleMania 14 was going to be Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWE Championship, but those plans went out the window when Bret signed with WCW in November of 1997 and the infamous Montreal Screw Job. That's about it on this feud. I'll be back with the third and final video blog at night, which will be about the WWE House Show card review for Madison Square Garden on August 22nd, 1987. I keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bennett guy. Wally was blood, WCCOX, and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart's so stunning. She's the best. Amy Tweezy's awesome Amy. Lynn Church of WPIX channel on New York, shut the walking goose. Got the best legs, New York State bound on. Bobby Gibbs of ABC Lemons has sweet southern accent, best legs, Wally, North Carolina. And Ren Clay of WHCH channel 7 Boston has the best legs in Boston. Have a good day. Bye.